tone stays respectful, dramatic, humanity-focused. The great hall of Lumerus Station had never been this silent. Delegates from 100 species stood in layered ranks beneath the floating lights, their robes, crests, and armor reflecting colors that shifted like oil on water. This station was neutral ground, a place where wars were paused and words carried more weight than weapons. Yet today, tension pressed against the walls like a storm. At the center stood a single human. His name was Elias Ward. He wore the standard envoy uniform of Earth, dark fabric reinforced with light armor plates at the chest and shoulders. His helmet rested beneath his arms, sealed and inactive. He stood straight, hands relaxed at his sides, posture calm but alert. Across from him, elevated on a crescent platform of living crystal, stood Princess Leora of the Aurelian line. She was tall, luminous, her skin carrying a soft inner glow like moonlight through mist. Her eyes were ancient for someone so young, reflecting not just intelligence, but history. The Aurelians were an old species, bound by traditions older than most stars humans had named. And now, those traditions were about to collide with humanity. "You have crossed a line," Leora said, her voice echoing through the hall without effort. "By law and by custom, no outsider may touch the sigil armor of my kind." Elias inclined his head slightly. "I did not touch it, Your Highness. I intercepted the strike meant for you." A ripple passed through the crowd. They all remembered the moment, the assassination attempt, the flash of energy. Elias stepping forward without hesitation, raising his own armored forearm to block a weapon meant to end a royal bloodline. The blade had shattered. Elias had survived. The sigil armor, however, had reacted. Princess Leora lifted her hand and the air shimmered. An image appeared, replaying the incident. The human moving fast, too fast. His armor flaring with unfamiliar energy as it synchronized briefly with Aurelian technology. Something no alien system had ever done. The elders had been furious, the priests confused, the warriors uneasy. Leora's gaze locked onto Elias. "Do you understand what you triggered?" she asked. "I understand that I protected a life," Elias replied. A murmur spread again. Some species found the idea admirable. Others found it reckless. Liora stepped down from the platform. With each step, the crystal reshaped itself beneath her feet. She stopped only a few paces from Elias, close enough that he could see the faint patterns moving beneath her skin, like constellations slowly drifting. "There is an ancient law," she said quietly, though every being heard her. "When a foreigner bonds with our sigil armor, intentionally or not, they are faced with a choice." Elias did not move. "The law states," Leora continued, "undress me, and you accept my kind." The words hit the hall like a gravity wave. Several delegates recoiled. Others leaned forward, curious. Humans in the gallery stiffened, unsure how to interpret the phrase. To many species, it sounded intimate. To the Aurelians, it was something else entirely. Elias remained still. "I believe," he said carefully, "that your meaning is not what my language makes it sound like." Leora studied him for a long moment. Then, to the shock of many, she smiled faintly. "You are correct, Elias. Ward of Earth," she said. "To undress, in our culture, is to remove protection in full trust, to strip away barriers, to stand without armor before another and accept the weight of their existence." She gestured to his uniform. "Your armor reacted to ours because your kind does not separate protection from responsibility. You build shields not to dominate, but to endure, to hold the line." The elders shifted uneasily. This was not how the ritual was supposed to be discussed. Elias slowly placed his helmet on the floor between them. The sound echoed louder than it should have. "I did not come here to claim anything," he said. "I came to represent humanity. We are new, loud, sometimes foolish. But when we protect someone, we do not calculate the cost first." Leora's glow dimmed slightly, becoming softer, warmer. "The ritual demands a response," she said. "If you refuse, the bond dissolves. and my people will mark your species as incompatible. If you accept, you will bear the consequences of knowing us fully. And those consequences are... Elias asked. She raised her hand again, and the image changed. This time, it showed history. Aurelian worlds burning in ancient wars. Alliances broken. Trust betrayed. Their long isolation after being wounded by those they welcomed too quickly. To accept us, Leora said, is to accept our enemies as potential enemies. Our grief as shared memory. Our survival as mutual responsibility. The hall waited. Elias took a breath. Not because he was afraid, but because he understood the weight of the moment. Humanity had been in space for only a few centuries. Already, they had fought wars, signed treaties, broken some, honored others. They had learned painfully. Neutrality was often just another word for delay. He reached up and disengaged the clasps of his armored jacket. Gasps spread through the hall as he set it aside, leaving himself in the simple fabric beneath. No weapons, no shielding. Just a human, exposed in a room full of beings who could end him in a second. I accept, Elias said. Not as a declaration of dominance. Not as conquest, as responsibility. Princess Leora raised both hands. Light unfolded around her like wings, and the sigil armor dissolved, flowing away from her form like mist burning off under morning sun. She stood unarmored as well, radiant but unsailed. Two figures. No barriers. The station trembled. Systems flared, then stabilized. Languages aligned. Sensors recalibrated. For the first time in recorded history, Aurelian technology rewrote itself to include a human variable. An elder whispered, "Impossible." Leora looked at Elias, her voice steady. "From this moment, your kind is known to us, not as outsiders, but as kin of choice." Elias swallowed, nodding once. "I hope," he said, "we prove worthy of that trust." Later, long after the hall emptied and the echoes of ceremony faded, reports would spread across the galaxy. Humans had done something no one else had dared. They had accepted a bond without demanding advantage. They had stepped into vulnerability willingly. Some species would call it foolish. Others would call it brave. The Aurelians called it familiar. And among the stars, a new saying would quietly take root. When humans remove their armor, it is not surrender. It is a promise.